All right, welcome to today's video. On today's video, we're going to take venison trimmings and turn them into a traditional summertime favorite, and that's hot dogs. Again, much like the summer sausage, there are some advanced techniques here, but we're going to give you the knowledge along with the tools that we have here from Meet Your Maker. You're going to turn out a delicious, tasty hot dog. Now in this case, we're using venison along with pork fat. We know fat is flavor, and we're going to tell you and teach you how to marry these two together so you get that nice, juicy bite hot dog. With hot dogs, one of the things that really makes them so special and really even makes them a hot dog is that they're very finely ground, or the meat particles are reduced to really, you can't even feel them when you bite into them. Very hard to do without the use of a bowl chopper, i.e. bowl cutter, where you actually emulsify the meat. However, by using the grinder, a technique that includes using ice, we're gonna grind these through until we get a nice smooth texture. Then we're gonna put them in our mixer. We're gonna mix them to get that protein extraction, and then we're gonna stuff them. We're gonna be using a cellulose casing. This is a 28 millimeter cellulose casing. Basically, it just means it's plastic. That casing will be peeled off at the end after this product is cooked. So stick with us as we tell you everything you need to know about how to process and turn out a tasty, traditional hot dog using wild game.
I know you guys have some meat in your freezer from last season. This is a great thing to make, especially if you have little kids. Everybody knows little kids are super picky eaters, and a hot dog is usually one thing that most kids will eat. So if you're looking for something to make the whole family can enjoy, follow along and make some hot dogs.
I'm going to point something else out here too. So what we've done is we've taken and we've kind of made a habit out of thinking for the future, and we want you to do this too. We've taken and we've separated our lean trimmings, and we've already vacuum sealed them using our meat vacuum sealer. We have the chamber vac. We've sealed these up, and we've put them in convenient bags. Now we've got 2.5 pounds pork fat written on the back of these. So we have these nice lean cubes, still partially frozen. That's really how we want to begin our processing process. Cubed up nice and uniform. And something that we've been asked about in some of our recent videos and we want to address is if you have deer or game meat that's already been ground up, it's already been processed to the point where that initial step has been completed where it's ground, you can use that product to go ahead and do this process. Really the tough part about that is you don't know exactly where your fat content is. In this case, this is very lean, almost zero, less than 5%, and we know we're just going to add the 5 pounds or 20% of pork fat to it. So that's the one variable you don't know when you already have it ground up. If it has pork fat, no fat, whatever, obviously you can look at it, but you certainly can start with product that was previously ground and frozen to get to this point right here. But in this case, we always prepare for the future, not knowing, maybe we make a batch of hot dogs when we initially process, but we don't know how quickly we'll go through the hot dogs. So we hold some of this product over in the freezer with the intention of down the road further processing it. And that really makes it convenient on processing day too, because rather than put the pressure on yourself to get everything processed right at the time of harvest, you can preserve for the future in the vacuum sealed bags. You can go into the freezer. The stuff's going to remain perfect, just like the day that you harvested it. And it certainly is safe and acceptable to freeze it, defrost it, rework it, and freeze it a second time. Certainly no concern there. Now that I've got my meat all blended up in this tub, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my seasonings. Once again, what we like to do is point out that you can take any shaker of our Bearded Butcher Blend seasoning, and the ratio that you mix it to is 6 ounces to 12 pounds of meat. So in this case, having 25 pounds of meat, I can go ahead and take this and dump it right into my lug, the form of 2 6-ounce shakers. Dump it right into my mixture. In fact, I'll mix that around a little bit, start to fold that in. We like to mix our spices into our trimmings and then grind. We get a really nice blend that way. So 2 shakers for 12 total ounces. In this case, we're using original Bearded Butcher Blend seasoning. These are hot dogs that we make for our store here, and they're delicious, and we can't get enough of them. Now, one of the things to point out about the cellulose casing, it's non-permeable. It won't accept any flavor from the oven, smoker, cooker, whatever you're doing. You certainly can use a collagen casing, even a sheep casing. Good luck with those if you decided to use those. But we want to get all the flavor into the product, because when we cook it, it's not going to accept any flavor. We're just cooking it because of the cellulose casing. In addition to our 12 ounces of Bearded Butcher Blend Original, we have got 4 ounces of fresh minced garlic. We love garlic in our hot dogs. And we've got 4 ounces of our natural hickory smoked powder. That's what really gives us our nice flavor. Yet, still on the counter, we have the 1 ounce of Sure-Cure. We're not going to add that in until our final mixing. So as the smell starts to hit me, my mouth starts to water, and I start to think about how delicious this product is going to be. Now that we've thoroughly hand mixed, it's time to go ahead and start dropping this through our number 32 meat grinder. All right, quickly before I start grinding, while this is nice and clean, I just want to go over real quick how easy this thing is to assemble, disassemble. I know we've talked about the different components a little bit with changing knives, but I just wanted to point out, just because one of the things about the meat equipment is super easy to clean and super friendly. I do want to point out this bushing right here. You see how we have this all nicely oiled. This bushing right here, make sure that when you assemble and reassemble that you have this bushing, this plastic bushing goes inside your worm here. And then of course you've got your extra storage. This plate we didn't talk about much, but this would come into play. It's called a kidney plate because it looks like a kidney. Traditionally in the commercial meat industry, we use these to grind out like things like pork fat so we can make lard. Maybe we'll get into that someday, but you get the kidney plate. It's really nice to keep everything, but yeah, this goes back in very easily. It's just got a nice, it's all hand tighten. So yeah, bushing goes inside your grinder head, and that worm's just gonna go in there, and you might have to turn it just a little bit to line up the shaft. Looks like I'm lined up really nice. Of course, your plate, and of course we're starting with the coarse head for our first grind. That's going to line up right here on the bottom. It's recessed. Once you get to that point, you're just going to thread this on. Like I said, all by hand, no tools required. That sets on there. We're ready to start grinding. All right, friendly reminder, we like to start with a little bit in there. These grinders, they don't like to sit there and run dry. So once we have that started, then I can just reach around, flip it on, and away she goes. And by away she goes, I mean I gotta stick with it, or else I've even set my plunger aside, because like I've mentioned, with this stuff being as cold as it is, and then in what we would call sort of golf ball size pieces, it's just gonna chew right. This number 32 grinder is gonna chew right through here, especially with the 10 millimeter, the 32, or excuse me, the 10 millimeter 3/8 inch plate. You can see this is where the plunger would actually go if I need to, but I'm just, as quickly as I can get 2 handfuls set up here and dropped in, it takes it. Which is really nice, because if you've ever worked with a grinder that doesn't have this capability, it can get frustrating in a hurry. Seth wanted to just stand and watch, but I said, hey, I need another set of hands here, because like I said, literally as fast as I can feed it, this grinder eats.
I think I can handle this portion. You can see the
only problem is he's going to start micromanaging now. Older brothers, I tell you.
I was just going to mention how nice the fat consistency was in that meat.
And that's going to blend in even more and more as we go. There we have it. Grind number 1 complete through the 3/8 inch plate. Now we're going to change plates. Go for grind number 2 through our 4.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch plate.
Ready?
Okay, grind number 2. Hit me up. This is where you're going to employ, like I mentioned before, a little bit of that cat paw method, where you want to kind of just get it moved into that. If you're at all worried about my fingers, I mean, this guard is here for a purpose. If you look, I mean, my fingers are still at least 4 or 5 inches away from the, and obviously if I'm gonna push in any further, I'm gonna use the plunger, just because you never ever want to remove guards from your pieces of equipment. They're there for your safety. All right. So grind number 3, you know, as this blade is in here cutting against this grinder plate, it's reducing our meat and fat particles again and again. And that's what a bowl chopper or a bowl cutter will do. It will continue to reduce the particles, and really what those have is they have a blade that spins at a terrific RPM, like it depends on the model, but up to 6,000 RPMs per minute, or revolutions per minute. But in this case, we're replicating that process by using the grinder knife, and really that's just to get that real fine texture to our hot dog. As you can see, it's being reduced, and the mixture is becoming more and more uniform. Now, this being grind 3, we're going to use a trick, and we're gonna, because a lot of these recipes will tell you that you want to grind once through the 3/8 and twice through the 1/8, but we're going to go for at least one more grind after this, and we're going to use a trick to get it through there if it needs a little help, because as you work this meat down, a couple things will happen. One, that you'll get friction, obviously, with all the grinding, and the meat will warm up, and you just simply can't have that. It's still cold now, so the trick we'll use will take care of that. And the other one would be that it just doesn't want to find its way through that plate. So we've got a trick on the next grind that's going to help you get that fine consistency that we're looking for. All right, this is doing so well that we're not going to use our secret trick, which is ice, until we get to, we're going to go for grind number 5. So that was the end of grind number 3. Want to beam me up?
Beam me
now,
up, Scotty.
Go ahead. You're going to find yourself at this point, you're going to be doing all sorts of, you know, you might even find yourself singing a little work tune, like, here we go, a grinding for the 4th time, because this is when things
probably stick to butchering, not singing.
Things slow down. You can do the drop. You can make little bomb sounds like, but you're definitely going to get slower and slower. In fact, we might be slower on the 4th grind than the 5th grind, just because we haven't brought the ice in yet.
You can see the consistency of the product now. And we're getting a real
starting to get protein extraction, really reducing those particles. You do not want your hot dog to look like a sausage, in the sense where you have that real, you really don't want the definition of the particles to be seen in the hot dog. All right, that's it for grind number 4. Now, and this is where I'm going to change my gloves even just to shut this thing off, because your protein extraction starts to get going, and anything you touch, this stuff sticks to. It's a good time to point out that you don't have to use a binder like a lot of times you'll find in commercial operations. They'll use like a non-fat dry milk powder to get the stuff to bind together. But in this case, because of the way that we're grinding it, we're getting proteins that are binding together. So now, in fact, I'll just show you right here. What we're going to do is we're going to take, we're going to literally just dump in 2.5 pounds, which is 10% of, you know, just your store-bought ice or whatever. And we'll mix that in, hand mix that in. Then when we grind it in, it's actually going to help us. This stuff's still nice and it's cool. It's not quite as cold as when we first started. It's still nice and cool. But that's going to do 2 things. It's going to bring this temperature back down if the friction's got it warmed up. And then it's also going to help punch this through here for the last and final 5th grind. So let's mix it up and get started. Look at you, Johnny on the spot with my gloves. You mean you've had gloves this whole time and haven't told me?
Duh, we're in the Rockies.
Yeah, so we can just fold those ice cubes in, and then the grinder will grab it, pull them through as we go. Big thing is just to have faith at this point, because things are going to slow down, that you want to just stick with it. It's well worth it to get that product in the end, because like we mentioned, traditional style, ballpark, juicy, soft, kids will eat them. People will say, those can't be deer, and you'll be like, yeah, you made them yourself? Yeah. This is the point where you have to put in that, you know, little extra effort. Just stick with it.
And we should
on
mention,
this final grind.
having this meat equipment is a huge benefit to this process. Because without this type of equipment,
Does not happen without it.
nope.
All right, rounding third, rounding third. We're at home plate pretty much. This is grind 5. As you can see, we really don't have any particle definition, or not much at all. Just know from experience, we would not get this through another time. And frankly, why would we want to try? Commercial product is going to get to almost toothpaste consistency. It really will look like cake batter. So this puppy right here, amazing. That went fantastic. It's not hot. It's not tripping any fuses. It's not doing anything like that. We ran it for the better part of 40 minutes or so, cycling through these grinds. Obviously, they slow down as you go along. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the mixer, and we're going to mix for 8 minutes. That's the point where we're going to add our cure. We're going to add a little bit more water. That's going to pretty much finalize our protein extraction. And then we go into the stuffer. I'm going to show you a convenient way for you to link these hot dogs. You just have to stick with it, and you'll see that in a minute. But mixer next. Let's get going. Meat matrimony. That's what we have when we married our mixer to our grinder. It was super simple. We just took the mixing head off, put it in a lug, put the mixer on. Now we're going to load up our 25 pounds hot dog mix. Like mentioned, we're starting to get some protein extraction, but we're going to work it a little bit more, and that's why we have to have the mixer. We're going to be adding our cure in this step and working it for about 8 minutes, and we want to reverse every minute. We want to reverse the direction that we're mixing. 1 ounce of pink cure going into our mixture. With wild game, we like to use sodium nitrite versus the celery juice powder, just because you have a little bit higher risk of bacteria with wild game versus commercial. There we go. I'm just putting 1 bottle of water because we have the ice in there. I'll take a look at it, and after we mix it, maybe halfway, and see if we need any more water. So 1 minute, one direction, and 1 minute in the opposite direction. We'll do that about 8 minutes, 4 times each way. So, got the next generation. The great part about this is Scott has his son Brady, and I've got my son Luke, oldest boys, and we're teaching them how to do this as well. So, next generation. That's one of the great things about working
online.
with this stuff is the family fellowship that you get while you're working with it. I did decide to add my 2nd bottle of water just because the texture was getting pretty firm, so that just means that it absorbed. The more lean meat that you have in it, the more water it can actually absorb. And with venison, it can take quite a bit. That's how commercial processors really, they use like lean bull meat, and that's how they can get it to really take in a bunch of water. So with wild game, you can typically get quite a bit of water in there. You don't want to overdo it, but in this case, it definitely needed it. All right, we're done.
All right.
Unplug me, Seth.
That's going to be the word for this video.
All right. So I can just pull this out. This stuff, it's got that nice tackiness. And we unplug this son of a gun because last thing you want is have your hand up in here messing around and have the unit power on. Safety first. Get this dug out. See how we got that protein extraction? Get it loaded into our 15-pound mixer.
Stuffer.
And then comes the fun part.
Stuffer.
Stuffer. 15-pound stuffer.
See, I do serve a purpose here.
Now is when things get real quiet because the power tools are no longer in play. Obviously a 15-pound stuffer. We can fit, you know, a little over 50% into this. So we'll fill it up in the first round. Try to get that air pushed out of there as best we can manually, and then Seth will show you how it works on that end of the...
Now what we do is we put the stuffer inside here. We start cranking down, and as mentioned in the summer sausage video, there's an air release right here. So as this pops up, you can see it pop up, you push down with your finger, and you can actually hear it. It'll release that air. So you can see the products coming through this horn. It's nice that these horns are clear. That way you can see where it starts and then where it's starting to come out of the extrude out the end. So you want to hold your thumb and your forefinger up against that casing, making sure that you don't allow any air into it as you stuff. Watch your casing real close down here towards the end. You don't want to squirt too much product out of the stuffing horn and not have enough casing. So when it gets down here to the end, you'll just reverse crank your stuffer a little bit and it'll stop. Did I hear you say you were going to invite me over tomorrow night for a hot dog roast?
You heard right.
You said something about a
when I said
shooting challenge.
When I said there's nothing better than hot dogs over Campfire, I meant it. So I want you to come over tomorrow night, and I want to challenge you to a shoot-off, an archery shoot-off. So you're going to hold your bottle of seasoning on your head, and I'm going to shoot it at it. Now you're going to go first, just so you know. And then I will hold my bottle of seasoning on top of my head, and you can shoot at it.
We're going to be planning a funeral for you.
Probably you. No, I'll challenge you to a shoot-off. You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. You heard it. Weenie roast and archery shoot-off.
I'll have my Bowtech in hand.
There you have it. Now what you want to do at this point is you want to it makes a nice comfy bed. No, I'm joking. So obviously we've got a bunch of really long hot dogs here, and there's going to be talk about twisting. People say you can twist this way and then you can twist that way, and quite frankly those untwist and they become again one big long hot dog. So we're going to show you the European method of tying. Seth and I do it a little bit differently. I do it the correct way, and he does it the incorrect way. No, anyway.
I sense another challenge.
There's no wrong way, but I start by twisting my first hot dog, and then in this case, I portion out like another size, and I twist like this, and then I come up, and I go through and roll, and then I'm left with a bunch of 3 hot dogs like that. He's going to tell me.
Behind.
He loops and swoops and goes through, and I think his is actually the correct way. But what we've got then, these are going to be, and obviously depending on what length you tie at, but 8 hot dogs make up a pound because we're using the 28 millimeter cellulose casing. If you want a smaller hot dog, you can obviously use a smaller millimeter casing. These are available on Amazon and other butcher supply stores. We buy obviously big bags of them. You don't have to do that. You can get like, what do we do? Less than 2 strands here make up only about one strand, one and a quarter to get these 25 pounds through. And these are a peelable casing, so once we remove them, And we better illustrate and slow down for one of these, because somebody's going to be pausing this like heck.
Ready?
So,
here's how I do
watch
it.
what he does.
I take my thumb and forefinger with my right hand and I pinch, and then I pull this loop through just like this. Get it to the length of hot dogs that you would like, and you pinch, twist, turn these two, and then repeat that process again. So you just keep doing that. You twist, pull the next strand up, pinch, pull it through, twist, pinch, pull it through, and so on and so forth. And as you get speedy at it, you can just like that. So now you can see those are all tied up, ready to go.
25 pounds, venison hot dogs. At this point, we're going to hold them in the cooler overnight. Obviously for you, that would be a fridge or some place where you want to keep them cold. The reason being, they have sodium nitrate in it. They do not have a cure accelerator. We want to let them sit overnight, let all those flavors mesh together, let that cure work. These are going to get this beautiful red color when we cook them. And so to cook them, we're going to do the Traeger 885, basically a smoker. Now, it should be mentioned, these are non-permeable casing, means no flavor from the smoker is actually going to go into this casing. We're not going to get any smoke flavor from the Traeger. However, it's going to be a great way to cook. Now, the other thing with hot dogs is they'll mention a lot of times, you watch some of the recipes about humidity control. Traeger's great at that. Whenever you cook foods in it, they retain a lot of the moisture. And again, these are plastic, so no, if you were using collagen, you have to worry about humidity, but there's no humidity loss. So we're going to hold them overnight, put them in the Traeger, cook them, ice bath, peel them, put them over the campfire. See you then.
Sounds like a good time to me. Let's do it. Time to get these hot dogs on the Traeger.
These sat in the cooler overnight. They're starting to get some nice color. When we put them on this Traeger, they're going to get a beautiful red color going.
Man, what a day. Isn't this beautiful out here? Sun shining. Scott and I got up this morning. We got a 5-mile run in. Wow. Felt great. So I'm just going to start laying these on the rack, and we want to make sure that put them on here the best that we can so that they don't touch. Because if the hot dogs touch, they'll cook unevenly there. So we definitely want to try to spread them out, get a nice little space between them, and just go back and forth, top and bottom. See how we do. We may have to split one of these just to be able to get them to all fit. So this is 25 pounds, and I think it's going to fill up this Ironwood 885 pretty well.
We can come back out and turn them after a couple hours or so. We're going to do 2 hours at 165, 2 hours at 185, and then go ahead and crank to 205 if we need to, just to finish them off.
So now that they're all on there, just go back through and make sure they have just a little bit of spacing. Get that heat up between those hot dogs. I think that looks pretty good.
Don't forget your meat probe, sir.
Gotta probe them. So with the meat probe, you always want to go in the thickest portion, because that's what's going to cook the least amount. And typically when you tie these like this, it's going to be right here in this end. So probably what I'm going to do is start here, and then I'm just going to run that probe up right into the end of that hot dog, just like that. We're going to let these go, and we may come out partway through, rotate them just a little bit so that smoke gets around the hot dogs real nice, and then we will keep an eye on our temp. See you soon. It's time to check on the hot dogs. We ran these at 2 hours, 165 degrees. We ran them for an hour at 185, and then we ran them for an additional hour at 205, totaling 4 hours on the Traeger 885. So let's crack the lid, let's take a peek. There you have it. I see some very nice color throughout. Doesn't look like there's any part of the hot dog that's not cooked. So at this point, what we're going to do is remove our probe. I see you finally decided to get out of your chair.
Last time, so
now he wants to be.
This is the ice bath for the hot dogs, but instead it's going to be an ice bucket challenge.
Now he wants to be a part of the process.
And throw it on top of Seth.
So now what we're going to do is we're simply going to take the hot dogs, since they've met internal temp of 165, and we're just going to dunk them in an ice bath. This is going to help stop the cooking process, and they're going to cool very, very rapidly. So we're just going to go right into our ice bath. Got the bottom rack done. Time for the top rack. So there you have the hot dogs in the ice bath. We're going to let them sit here until they get nice and chilled, and then we're going to peel the casings and get some in some vacuum bags using the meat vacuum sealer, the chamber vac, and we're going to let them sit the rest of the afternoon in the cooler. And tonight we're going to have a campfire, so stick along, come along, we're going to have a good time.
Practice this. Do this one.
No, I'm not holding an apple on my head.
Hot dog! Beautiful stack of venison hot dogs here.
Hot diggity dog.
Wanted to demonstrate real quick. To peel, all you need to do is make a very slight incision right here, and then this casing will just peel right off. So that's what we've already peeled all these hot dogs. So we wanted to show you the finished product. Wanted to talk to, if you get any what we call fat out, where a little bit of your fat may leach out into the case. You see a little bit of my thumb right there. That's perfectly normal, perfectly fine. You can wipe these puppies off, or you can even use a little bit of lukewarm water to rinse them off. But shall we?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the cross section and see what we've got.
You want to do like we did with the summer sausage and cut it and then reveal it?
Yep.
Let's do that. So here goes. There's the cut. There's the hot dog.
So there we go. We've reduced those fat particles to a very fine amount there, and that's the goal with hot dogs. So that's going to give us a nice soft bite. There's another one there. I think the only thing left to do is give these puppies a taste test. We eat cold hot dogs for breakfast all the time. So, oh my,
nice texture,
wonderful flavor.
That hickory smoke powder that we put in there.
Those are amazing.
Delicious.
Obviously, we used 2 shakers of the Bearded Butcher Blend seasoning for the 25-pound batch of hot dogs. I want to remind you, you can of course get the bucket, which is a total of 12 shakers. If you're going to do a lot of these, that's something that you're certainly going to want to do. Now that we've got our hot dogs in our vacuum pack, only thing left to do is take these over here, seal them up with our meat chamber vac. Here comes my favorite part. There you have it. Venison hot dogs. Now you can pop these in your freezer. In this case, they're not going to make it to the freezer. We are taking these bad boys down to my house for a good old-fashioned hot dogs over the campfire.
I can't wait. So just remember that when you do vacuum seal these would be good in your refrigerator for up to about 30 days. Other than that, just toss them in your freezer. When you want to pack, pull them out, thaw them, and they're ready to go. But like Scott said, next time we're going to try these is going to be on a hot dog stick around a campfire. Good times coming. Stay tuned. Let's head to Scott's house. Let's get some cooking over the campfire.
Welcome to my humble abode. I gotta get my bow, put a schooling on Seth. There's my dog. There's my big green egg. There's my Traeger. That's where my bow's hanging. See if he's ready to go out here. Ready to get his butt whooped. You ready?
About time you show up to the party.
Both shooting identical bows. Bowtech Revolt X's. So we can't blame it on equipment. It's going to be on the shooter. It's very windy out here.
Gold tip arrows. It is pretty windy, so whether you want to count for that. These bows do shoot pretty fast. So
30 yards, there's a Bearded Butcher hot blend with my likeness on it, and a Bearded Butcher Cajun blend with his likeness on it. I'm gonna be shooting at my blend. He's gonna be shooting at his blend. See who can put one, least amount of arrows to put one right through your bottle.
let me show you something though. See all those marks inside my hat? I brought my lucky hat. Those are deer that I've killed wearing this hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I recommend everybody go to our website, get one of these lucky hunting hats.
I don't have a lucky hat, but
Yeah.
you go first. Now, go hold your bottle on top of your head. I'm totally changing it up. You go first, okay? Your lucky hat will protect you.
You do it.
No, you do it. Your lucky hat will protect you.
All right, I'll do it.
Chill out. My dad's gonna get shot. Look, you're not doing it. Oh.
I can't balance it on my head. I'll just hold it.
Dad, don't aim anywhere in the region of.
I don't want to get your hands because you still got to be able to butcher meat after this is all done. You didn't really think we were going to do that, did you? All right. Put it on the string. No, I'm not going to make you do that. What do you want to say? $100 to the guy that puts the arrow through his bottle? Just for bragging rights, Seth?
I'd say just bragging rights.
Just bragging rights.
Whoever puts their arrow through their bottle, the other guy has to carry the most weight in elk quarters out of the mountains.
All right. Who's going first?
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'll let you go first. Revolt X. Let's see what we can do. Hey guys, be quiet for a second. Did you notice the wind much?
I'm not giving away my secrets. Ooh, we're gonna have to go check it out. Oh! 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 I gotta give it up to him. Look at that! Dang!
Yeah!
He got him right through his own logo, and oh man. That's incredibly close. It couldn't be much closer.
That was the first shot. That wasn't any retakes. No gimmicks.
Whoa, I gotta
Each
give
one
it up
shot.
to him.
Look at that.
First shot each, and Seth takes the challenge. Good thing there was no money on this. That is darn,
I should have went for the
that is
$100,
darn close.
man.
30 yards. 1 pound,
Whoa!
man.
Gave
Good
ourselves
job,
a
brother.
haircut. Nice.
That's crazy.
So I suggest you start putting some marks inside that hat. These bows are tack drivers. I mean, they are absolutely lethal. Somebody's going to ask how we have them set up. Ripcord arrow rest, custom bow equipment, Tactic micro sight. This is a 5-pin sight. Tight spot quiver. We're shooting the gold tip. We've got the Hunter Pro 340 shaft. They are absolute tack drivers. We love them. Thanks Bowtech Todd with Bowtech. These are incredible bows.
Let's eat. All right, bring it in. We're gonna have a prayer. Start eating hot dogs. Get your hot dogs here. Hot dogs.
Peanuts. Peanuts. Hot
Come on,
dogs.
kids.
Cracker Jacks.
Prayer
Bring it
time. Boys, hats off. Let's bow. Our kind Heavenly Father, God, we come to you this evening thankful, praising you for the glory of your creation here that we're enjoying. We want to thank you for these venison hot dogs we have and the other food that we have, the faith, the fellowship that we can enjoy together, all the family that's gathered here. We want to pray for our fellow outdoorsmen, and those that go to the fields, the streams, the lakes this fall, all across the world, not only Americans, but we want to thank you for all the great freedoms that we have here, and we want you to bless our evening. We want to give you all the praise and glory. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, boys, break them out.
Let's eat.
Which one are you?
Cross.
You're gonna cross the hot dog?
I know it. Cross.
I have no idea. I
Cross.
just like them crispy.
You don't. How many you want? 7?
No. 3 dogs.
Just one?
I don't have that many.
You're gonna take 2?
Cross. I'll take 1.
2. Turn, don't burn. Okay. Go get them on the fire.
I got.
Boston, don't let yours fall off. You're the king.
Golden.
No, he's the king of them going in the fire.
Oh. Who's the best in your family? Makes them golden.
Probably.
When do the dads get to eat?
Me.
We're gonna have to carve. Yeah, and the moms. Are we gonna have to carve a stick out of the forest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the buns ready.
Kids first, parents
Remember,
second.
turn, don't burn. Turn, don't burn.
Here's the stick.
Is my hot dog ready, Seth?
Almost.
Those are onions. That's what old
Who
people.
puts
That's what old
onions
people
on
eat on
a
their hot
hot
dogs.
dog?
Old people.
do, Brady. Old people.
Luke, you ready for some buns?
I
double?
get a hot dog so I can eat my
Here,
food
I'll
before.
help you.
A s'more before your hot dog? Everybody took the sticks, so I was like, I gotta eat something.
Oh man, that's a perfect toasting job. Do you ketchup, mustard, anything? Onions? Double onions? Pickles?
Ketchup for me.
Gonna have to teach these kids how to eat a hot dog. What about barbecue? Nobody's barbecue? Nothing?
Yeah.
The hot dogs are just so good you don't need them, right?
Yeah.
Do you want a hot bun?
I need a hot dog.
You need a hot dog. I'm going with, course, Bearded Butcher barbecue and mayo, relish, and onion on my first dog. This is not going to be my last, that I'm sure. Mmm. Mmm. Bro.
How'd we do?
Oh. That bite, that smoke flavor. Oh, that's amazing. Hey, we should have a hot dog eating contest. We have 25 pounds. How many do you think you can do?
Remember that time I flung a hot dog at you and it whacked you right in the eyeball?
How could I forget? Gave me a black eye with a hot dog. We were playing volleyball and he threw a hot dog. I never saw it coming.
Hurry to some.
Oh
Why was
man,
our hot dog
delicious.
volleyball?
So, what we've done, it's the epitome of harvesting it, processing it in such a way that you get a little bit on the corner of your mouth.
A little bit right there.
You get to enjoy a beautiful summer evening just like this eating a venison hot dog, something that you harvested, processed, you know exactly what's in it, you're putting in on your family's table, something you can really be proud of. And it's delicious, absolutely delicious.
I love it.
Cheers. Toast them.
Cameraman needs a hot dog.
You want a hot dog?
I need a hot dog.
You want a hot dog?
I want a hot dog.
Everybody wants a hot dog.
I know they want a hot dog.
I told you I would get on to my second hot dog. Now I am. Seth's over here enjoying himself. Let's see, we got 4 deer hunter successful. You guys have all gotten deer.
2.
You want to turn them? He's gotten 4. You guys want to turn them into hot dogs next time?
Sure.
Let's do it.
That's what I'm doing.
So that's the great thing about hot dogs, because these kids are all eating them. If it was, I don't know, maybe ground meat into a burger or something like that, some kids are kind of funny about those. So the process that we showed you using the meat equipment, make something like this with that trim that's still left in your freezer. And guess what? Here it is, the end of summer season, hunting season here in Ohio is right around the corner, and we're cleaning out the freezer and making hot dogs. So
That's right.
recommend you do it.
So, wanted to thank you for watching the video. Remember, click that bell for notifications. Of course, you're subscribed, or we hope you are. Follow us on all of our platforms. Visit beardedbutchers.com. Make sure you check out our blog posts, because we put a lot of the stuff that you see in filmed content, in written content on our blog, on our website. Of course, you can order the Bearded Butcher Blend spices. Stay tuned for more videos coming up on our channel.
If you have a question about something in the video, there's a real good chance there's going to be a link down below. So just scroll down through all the information on the video. You'll find a link. You can click on it. It'll take you right to an item. Say, for instance, like hickory smoked powder or something like that. Click the link. It'll take you right there. So thanks for watching. Until next time, see ya.